Hey guys, welcome. In the last video I showed you guys a quick unboxing of my new Annealing Made Perfect brass annealing machine. During this video I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I bought it, how it works, and why I really feel that it was the best option for me. So you guys stick around and we'll get into it. To get started, I'm going to start right from the beginning and say this video is not going to get into why you should anneal or try to convince you to anneal. If you're watching this video, hopefully you understand the benefits of annealing and why you might want to do it in the first place. And so I will tell you from my perspective why I decided to get into it, why I bought this machine, and some of the benefits that I feel that really pointed me towards buying this machine. One of the big benefits that there seems to be no real gigantic argument about, annealing can dramatically increase your brass life compared to not annealing whatsoever. Some of the other additional benefits that I hope to gain from this is better consistent neck tension and hoping to keep my die settings more consistent. To again, if any of you are into precision rifle shooting, you will know consistency is accuracy. And so I'm hoping to start with a consistent product every single time, move along, and hopefully that's going to translate into accuracy in my load development. Now, if you guys are thinking about annealing, or if you guys are already into annealing, basically right now it seems in the market there's either the induction machine, which is what this is, or these flame annealers. And again, this video is not intended to convince you that you have to anneal. This is for people who are thinking about annealing, and if you're going to pick a machine, what one you might want to pick. First off, let me say, I've watched so many videos on annealing. I wish that I could get those hours of my life back. And it's kind of what I wanted to make this thing. Give you guys a quick overview of the decisions that I made, why I made them, and maybe you won't watch as many videos as I did looking over the different people talking about it, brass annealing. When I first started to evaluate the annealing process, I was looking at all the flame-based annealing systems. But what I really didn't find was consistency on the flame adjustment. People were talking about using tempolac. People were talking about having pressure changes. And let's just face it, guys, there are more opinions out there than there are anything else. And of course, everybody's right. When you guys are out there looking, you're going to find that this is not the only induction annealer on the market. However, you're going to find that the other induction annealers, at least that I was looking at, really don't have any data to back them up. They're really still counting on the old system that all the flames are doing. Are you using tempolac? Are you looking for color change on the brass? There really doesn't seem to be a whole lot of scientific data to show you that the hardness of the brass is actually changing and you're getting the proper consistency without actually damaging the brass and what everybody likes to call over annealing. Or let's just call it, we're getting the brass too hot and we're damaging it. Not necessarily over annealing, we're really wrecking our brass, guys, if we get it too hot. And so that's one of the things you have to think about if you're going with a flame system. If you don't have a good control over your annealing process, you're going to risk damaging your brass. And I think honestly that's probably turns a lot of people off from annealing to begin with. The last thing anyone's going to want to do is spend all this time and money getting a setup, setting it up, spending all the time, money, especially not just the equipment, but the brass themselves, depending what brass you guys are shooting. If you guys are shooting the Pua or any of those other top-notch brasses, do you really want to wreck that brass or risk damaging that brass by not annealing it properly, if you are even annealing? So, in the process of evaluating all this, I spent way too much time watching all these videos, and I've come to the conclusion that everyone has a different opinion, and they're all wrong. So, just like I'm probably wrong, just like everyone else, but here's my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. Otherwise, you guys can switch to the next video, and you'll be just like me. Please, though, if you're going to take anything out of this video, if you see a video when someone's taking randomly a blowtorch to a piece of brass and telling you this is how you anneal, please don't do that. Especially if they're telling you anneal halfway down the case and start spreading that heat out because you're looking for discoloration. You're only trying to heat and anneal the neck and the shoulder. You're really not trying to soften the brass anywhere else. The neck and the shoulder is what you're trying to anneal. So, even if this guy tells you he's been doing it this way for 30 years, please use some common sense. A blowtorch is not an annealing device. Now, let me give you a quick walkthrough of the Annealing Made Perfect machine, why I got it, and everyone wants to know how much it costs, or if you might already know how much it costs when you're watching this machine. Now, this is December of 2017, and the current retail price for this is $995 US. Now, my machine came with no additional pilots. You might watch a video out there that'll tell you it comes with 3. This machine came with no additional pilots. Every pilot you want is $20. And so $995 plus your shipping and handling fee. For me it was $60. I think it's getting ready to go up to $100. And it's $20 for every single pilot that you want to get. Some of these pilots will do more than one caliber. Some of them don't. So I just decided to get all the calibers that I thought that I was ever possibly going to do right out of the gate. And hopefully, if I need to get another one, there'll be more commercially available then. I did see right before I started making this video that I think there are some more dealers starting to come online in the US that might actually start stocking these. I think the more information, the more that comes out about these, the more commonplace these are going to be fine. Guys, I realize that $1,000 is a lot of money for a annealing machine. And don't think that I took this lightly, and I don't have an endless amount of money to spend on this. However, I've seen some of the other upper tier models, the Bench Source, and some of the others. I mean, even the Annealies is $300, guys. And I just don't think you're getting the consistency out of those devices that you're paying for. Especially, the Bench Source looks like a nice device, but again, going to those flame machines, I'm not sure it's the same if you run it on Monday as you run it on Friday. And, teaching to their own. I hope that there's guys out there, you guys are having great luck with it. I just don't have the time to try and set that up every single time and gamble all that time away that I know I can set this up, and when I run through the quick demonstration of this, you guys are going to easily understand how easy it is to set this up, change the program, and you're annealing. And you don't have to worry about flames and propane tanks and getting a different source of propane when you're buying it. Are you going to get the small bottles? Are you going to get the big bottles? Are you going to have to buy a regulator? Are you going to have to buy hoses? Do the hoses deteriorate over time? Are you doing this indoors during the winter? Because it's just really not pleasant to be out in your garage, and plus with big temperature consistency changes if you're living in the north. There's all those things to evaluate. Or we're sitting on my reloading bench, we've got a nice device, we can put in a program, put in a pilot, and we can be annealing here in a couple minutes. 2, before you guys want to tell me that I got this for half price, here is my thing. I did take my personal information off of it, but this is my paid in full invoice of what it costs. You can see I bought 8 different pilots, spent $995 on the machine, and honestly, for the customer service guys, I can't imagine it being any better. Before I bought the device, before they had any money in hand, Alex answered every question I had via email. It was really getting into the holiday season. He was still very good, very quick, and answered all the questions that I had before I bought my annealer. So that being said, you guys might have seen some of the videos out there. I just want to run through a quick thing. So if you guys are familiar with this device at all, the chart on their website is going to tell you the specific pilot you're going to need and the program you're going to need to run depending on the brand of brass that you're using. Or if you don't like the chart, or if you guys are neck turning and there isn't the neck turn information, or if you guys are actually forming the cases out of some other size case into something else, you can send the brass to them at no additional fee. They will evaluate it and tell you exactly what program that you need to run. They'll make a pilot for you for a pilot. These guys, customer service, hands down, I can't imagine better customer service. I can't say enough of how good these guys have been. Their service was faster than they told it was going to be. The answers were quick. They were accurate. Again, I really can't say enough good things about this so far. I'm extremely pleased with my purchase, and I'm extremely pleased with the customer service that I've got. So, getting into it, we'll start with our pilot. If you guys have been fans of the channel, you'll know that the reason why I bought this was 6.5 Creedmoor, but when I'm like, I don't want to be buying this for just one caliber. I want to be able to do everything. And that's another reason why I chose against the Bench Source, because I know once I got it set up, I wouldn't want to change it. I wouldn't want to spend the 45 minutes the next time that I want to do anneal to set it up and change it and then change it back, and all those manual things and twisting and turning. It might be a good system, it might be very programmable, it just didn't seem like it was the one for me. But this, again, you just saw me pull the plug out of it, keep the dust out of it. We're going to do some 6.5 Creedmoor. It's going to use insert 17. I've got Hornady brass that I have in neck turn, so I'm going to use program 53. So 17, all these pilots came with this fancy plastic plug that keeps them from being dented, dinged, so all the threads are protected. Same with the other device. I don't know if it's just to keep dust out or to do both. But the threads are in good shape. Run that right down. If you guys are watching that video, you take a shell holder into your device already, put in your unannealed brass, set it in there. Oh, it went into power save while I was talking too much. So again, program 53 is what we're going to run. You're going to hit start. And in mere seconds, we're done. And you're going to pull it out with a beautifully annealed piece of brass. Put in another, set it in, start. Now, if you've looked at their website, you've looked at some stuff, and you see it'll tell you that, oh, you could get some smoke out of it, and that's true. Except I ultrasonically clean. So my process to get to this point is after I've shot my my projectiles, I always deprime, ultrasonically clean, and then my next step now is going to be annealing. So even talking, half paying attention to what I'm doing, you guys can see, quick, dirty, comes out looking perfect. Drop on the bench, pick up your next one, and if you're really concentrating on this and not making a YouTube video, you can cycle through this pretty quick. Now, they will tell you if you're running an extremely heavy program, more like a 338 Lapua, you probably can't run this thing endlessly. It will eventually get into some type of heat overload, though it has all these protection circuits in place and all this other stuff, but it still tells you you can roughly do 200 pieces of brass before it would get into something like that. I usually don't run a whole lot more than 100 in a lot, so that really isn't a concern for me. Maybe it's a concern for you. Maybe you guys make 1,000 rounds at the same time. I really usually don't run that large of a lot size. But you guys can see, as I'm going through this, it's really easy. You set it in, you hit start, it's red. As soon as it's done, it's off, you're done. Beautifully annealed piece of brass. Here, we'll do the last one while we're at it. I mean, this thing just chugs right along. So, you guys think, okay, well, sure, fine. What is it going to take to switch out your next caliber? So you can probably see it's not going to take much. But just for fun, guys, let's do some 30-06. And so we're going to pull up our chart for the 30-06. It takes insert 14. So, oh, here's insert 14. So we're going to take insert 17 out. Put it back in its holder. Insert 14. Now, I've got Federal. So, 30-06, Norma, Hornady, Federal. And there's only one Federal, so we don't have to worry about it. So program 62 is our magic program. So, this happens to use the same show holder as 6.5 Creedmoor, so I can still use my number 2 show holder. Put it in there. And again, we have to change to program 60. This is unturned. If you really want, you can take a quick peek at it, measure your neck thickness, because your neck thickness should be listed on there, and the as long as you're getting a reasonable 13 is exactly what the Federal says that it's supposed to be. So I know that if I use program number 62, that's going to be the right program. So I'm going to change my program number 62, put it in there, program 62, start. And there, one more beautifully annealed piece of brass. As you can see, it probably took a little bit longer than it was. Beautifully annealed piece of brass. So I'm sure it's almost getting boring. Just to show you one more thing, guys. So the just for fun, let's do some 223, right? Nobody does 223, but I mean, I honestly would have bought this to do 223, but since I have 223 and I bought the machine, why not? So I need to switch out my show holder. The show holder is the number 4, so I need to unscrew that, screw my number 4 show holder. Now, obviously, I don't spend a ton of money on my 223 brass. I honestly have had very good luck with PMC, and so we're going to anneal some PMC, guys. So I need my number 3. If you go to 223, number 3 is the correct show holder, or the correct pilot. Don't want to cross through. Perfect. Slides right in. And so, then like number 4 show holder, number 3 pilot, and then now we need to figure it out. So 223, I told you this was PMC brass. I measured it to the 11 thousandths, so it is program number 33. Huh. Oh, so that you have to get that asterisk to go away before it'll start. Now it'll change programs indefinitely. So, PMC number 33, I bet they have that in place so you don't bump the wrong button and change your program in the middle of annealing. These guys have probably thought more than I have about it. So, PMC, program number 33, pilot number 3, show holder number 4, and we're ready to start annealing. So these guys, same thing as everything else, these guys have been deprimed, ultrasonically cleaned. Set it in there, start. And then you have a beautifully annealed piece of brass. These guys have really done all the research telling you, you know, all these pilots are this far out of the thing to make sure that they get the exact area that they're supposed to get. They ran the programs and all the different brass types to make sure they're doing the right heating, they're not getting it too hot, they're making sure you're getting the right annealing being done. And so I can't imagine all the time it would have taken to do this with a flame system, and you're not going to get the accuracy that you're going to get with this type of system to know that you're doing it right. They've done the research to make sure they're getting the right temperature at the right time, and go to the website, guys. They can show you they've done all the Vickers hardness testing to make sure that they're getting this brass to where you want it to be, so you're getting consistent neck tension, you're getting all those things that you're hoping for, and every time you put a piece of brass in there, you're getting a beautifully annealed piece of brass. It's not annealed all the way to the top, it's not too hot, it hasn't had the zinc burnt out of it, all those things that you want on a perfectly annealed piece of brass. I'm not going to go through this entire block of 50, you guys get the idea, but it cycles really quick, it's real easy to change, and if you guys want to do multiple calibers, it's really easy. So like I said before, guys, this unit is expensive, and yes, I did pay full price for it. I already showed you guys the receipt. I made no mention to Alex or any of the people that emailed back and forth at Annealing Made Perfect that I was even going to do a video on this when I did it. I didn't ask for an evaluation unit. If you see that evaluation unit, you're going to notice that it has a different sticker on it. This is their new symbol, and this is the way it got shipped to me. So, you know, going through the reasons why I got this. Reasons 1 through 5 are consistency. Guys, if you watch my channel at all, you'll know I'm trying to get into some long-range shooting. Consistency is accuracy, and I really don't believe there's going to be a more consistent piece of equipment on the market right now. The homework's been done, and the proof is in the pudding. You put a piece of brass in there. Now, obviously, you can read in the book all you want. You can't tell by the look. Everybody online tells you got to get temp lag. You got to go by the look on the brass. You got to see how far the heat's going down. But truth be told, they're not doing any real research. They're just saying it looks like the way I think it ought to look. And if you talk to Alex Finley, if you read about any of this stuff, I've never personally spoken with him. We emailed back and forth a couple times. But all this stuff, the testing that they've done will tell you it's not by the look that you need to go. You need to actually get the numbers out of the hardness tester to make sure you actually got this brass back to where it's supposed to be. So, since we got through 1 through 5, consistency is key. The other thing, if you guys want to double check your brass, you guys don't want to trust the chart. You know, this constantly updating chart that's on their website, you guys don't want to trust it. I'm just not going to put all effort in. Okay, send them your brass. As soon as they received my payment, I got a form from Alex in my email. It said, hey, thank you for your payment. We're going to work on getting your annealer shipped as quickly as we possibly can. But in the meantime, if you have brass that you want to send to us, here's the address. This is where you send it. We will verify your brass settings or create new ones for you if you have something that's not on your chart. It was great. I couldn't imagine better customer service from these guys. It was just unbelievable. Now, and the other thing, if you're buying a bench source and you're going to set it up once, maybe you only shoot 1 caliber rifle. I'm hoping it's obvious by my quick and my pilot selection, I shoot more than 1 caliber of rifle. And so, if I'm going to spend this kind of money on a machine, I'm going to get the benefit across all of my reloading. I don't want to get it across 1 caliber of my reloading. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'd be like, oh man, can I skip it this time? Why would you skip it? It takes no time to change this. You can whip through a set of 50 or 100 in no time. Maybe you guys process 1,000 cases at a time, but my trays hold 50, and I usually don't work more than through 2 trays at a time when I'm building a lot. So, if I'm going to get ready to go to a match, I'll probably get obviously more than 50 ready at a time. But when I'm doing all my load development, lots of 50 are very common. I might even split those in half for different loads or doing different workups. And so doing 300 cases in 5 minutes is really not a concern for me. Again, I'm not doing high volume 223. And frankly, if you're a high volume 223 shooter but you're making plinking ammunition, I'm not sure you care to spend enough time doing annealing. That's not for you. But on mine, I've got it. I got the pilot for it. It's $20 to add a caliber to this. It's just a no-brainer. You've spent the money. You've got a good solid piece of equipment. $20 per caliber, and some of them are good for multiple calibers. I mentioned it before, but I'll go over it again. It seems on every single one of the flame-based systems, every single time you change anything, including turning it on and turning it back off, you're going to spend that setup time. And people can argue all day long that it's not going to take that much time, but you're still going to be setting up a different propane bottle and getting the heat right. And if you're really trying to be more accurate, you're using Tempelac. And can you trust a Tempelac? And Tempelac's only good for a year. And all these other arguments that people bicker back and forth about. I think that's one of the reasons why annealing is not more popular than it is because there's so many different ways to screw it up. People, if they've tried it, they have screwed it up, and they just didn't find it was worth the time and energy that it took to actually anneal. So, I already mentioned, again, $20 per caliber after you made the investment. Buy once, cry once is kind of my philosophy. On my rig, this is about how much I spend on my rifle scope. They do have a service center in the U.S. If I do have any problems with it, according to them, it's completely overbuilt and everything is the way it is. And so I think that we've really bought a machine that's going to last for a very, very long time. The other thing, if you guys are low volume shooters, maybe it doesn't make sense. If you guys are, going to shoot 100 rounds a year, at that point, I don't know why you're reloading unless you really enjoy it. I intend to shoot a lot of ammunition through my rifle, and I want to get the best brass life out of here. I really do. I mean, I can't remember what my round count is, but I've got to be getting close to 350 rounds to my Ruger Precision rifle, and I only want to get more. I intend to shoot the barrel out of this one, and I'm going to get another barrel as soon as this one's shot out. In the long run, do I really think it's going to save me money? Probably not, but maybe it will. I mean, anybody can do the quick math. You buy brass. The brass on this is around 75 cents a piece. By the time you can almost buy loaded ammunition, buy a crate of it, and for $1 a round, if you're trying to get some plinking ammo for it, and steal the brass that way, because the brass is expensive, guys. And I think January, so this coming month here, real quick, we should be, in fact, by the time this video gets out, it might be January. The Pua brass is supposed to be out soon, assuming you're going to be able to find it, because it's probably going to be popular when it's first release for 6.5 Creedmoor. you want that brass to last a long time. You don't want to treat your brass poorly. I've kind of gone over all the things. I don't know if I have any more points that I really want to add. If you've stuck around this long, I appreciate it. The one thing I will tell you, I'm going to make some more series where I'm going to try and be different than everybody else that's done a quick snippet on this annealer. Is I'm going to give you some hard data. I don't want to be that commercial on their website. I want you to come here, look at this, and I'll show you my evaluation. So I've got some 4 times fired Hornady brass that I have an anneal on a lot of 50. I'll anneal part of it, and I won't anneal the other part. We'll load it up, we'll shoot it, and we'll see. People are claiming, from what I read, that the SDs are going down, the extreme spreads are getting lower, and that's where I'm getting back to that consistency. Even if you don't want to talk brass life, you can't. People are always trying to spend any amount of money to increase the accuracy and repeatability of their rounds. And so I'm going to try and put that data out there to see what I really felt. I think I'm going to get the benefit from the extended brass life if I get nothing else, but I think it's very likely we're going to see that just a little bit better edge on the quality of the ammunition when we load it. Quick review in 5 seconds, guys. Again, I didn't currently have a propane machine. I was looking to get into annealing. I was trying to make my choices, and so I don't already have any money into anything. So I don't have any sunk costs. I'm not throwing away a piece of equipment or not using it anymore or trying to sell a used piece of equipment to do it. So I don't have the money in a bench source. If you guys have one, I can understand, hey, you kind of sunk your costs into that. To me, I think in the long run this is going to be such a much more consistent process for me. The ability to change out all these pilots really quickly, the ability to anneal this brass very quickly, change pilots, do small batches, not spend that setup time, not fill with regulators and propane bottles, nothing to say about burning propane indoors, which I don't want to do, and all the other things. Really, there's nothing there's no consumables for this besides electricity that more than likely if you're watching this video you have anyway. I always don't have the hour and a half to run through and do everything I want to do all in one time. I have to reload in pieces. I have to do the piece that I can with the time I have, and then with this I can come back, I'm confident, I can come back in a day, I can come back in a week, and I'm going to be able to get the same anneal that I was going to get if I completed the whole lot at the same time, and I just don't know if you can get that out of a flame-based system. It's a good solid piece of equipment. You know, I'm obviously not going to take a baseball bat to it just for fun. It was packaged pretty well. If you guys didn't see the unboxing video, it should be a short video just to show what comes in the box and how they shipped it to me. But it's in great shape. It's got nice feet. It's in good condition. You heard it. It's a nice quiet machine. There's 2 fans running if you can't hear them in the background. One of the things that's been highlighted, this thing does have a USB port on the side. I don't know if you can turn it if you really want to see it. There is a USB port on the side of this if future updates come. Okay, they've added new profiles, or they've added new cartridges as they come about. They mean it to be future-proof, give you a new profile. This machine doesn't do 50 BMG. I'll be honest with you, I'm not really planning to get into 50 BMG, so it's really not an issue for me. Though if you look on their website, it looks like they've got a prototype for that. So, anyway, hope you guys liked the video. Hope you guys stuck around to the end. If you did, subscribe to my channel. There's going to be some more content on this and some more evaluations on their stuff that I've been getting into using. I really want to give you guys an opportunity to say, hey, was it worth the money that I spent on it? Was it worth part of the money that I spent on it? Would I have liked to have had a buddy to try it out first? First I would have, but I didn't. I did my research. I did the best I could, and it's early on, but so far I'm pretty happy with my purchase, and I think it's going to be a good quality piece of equipment going forward. If you guys have any questions, ask them in the comments below. I try and keep up with my comments as well as I can. Give me some time to respond. I can't always do it in 5 seconds, but sometimes I do. But again, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and follow me down my journey. I'm going to make this another playlist so you guys can go through and I might use some more annealing tests. The first one, like I said, is going to be on 6.5 Creedmoor, so I'll run through that. But I might run through some of my other rifles just to, give a quick thing to say, hey, does my extreme spread drop on some of them? All of them is about the same. What benefits am I getting out? Am I just getting the extended brass life, or am I getting more? Anyway, thanks again.